speculated often here at TYT about, hypothetically, if the general election does end up being Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, how many voters might go to the polls to oppose a candidate rather than to support one, the way historically people tend to do during presidential elections. And now we've got some hard data showing that that trend is going to be huge. So polling was done asking people who support these different candidates, what's the primary reason that you're supporting them? Why would you actually vote for them? First, for Trump. About 47% of Trump supporters said they backed him primarily because they don't want Clinton to win. Another 43% said their primary motivation was a liking for Trump's political positions. But we don't know on which side since he switches so much. 6% said they liked him personally. That makes me feel a little bit better, that the percent liking him personally is quite low. And look, 43, 47, those are somewhat close. That means that even if you believe that there's some error there, half of the people who support him are doing it not because of him, but because of Hillary Clinton. And it's really not any better on the other side. About 46% said that they would vote for Clinton mostly because they don't want to see a Trump presidency, while 40% said they agreed with her political positions, and 11% said that they liked her personally. So very similar numbers there on the opposite sides. They're very different people with very different experience in government. The way that they've pitched themselves is very different. But considering how disliked they are by people on both the opposite side of the aisle and their own traditional supporters, maybe we shouldn't be that surprised that people are driven more by opposition to the other side than their own side. And there's actually a name for that. The phenomenon is called negative partisanship. Larry Sabato, a famous political scientist, says, if we were trying to maximize the effect, we couldn't have found better nominees than Trump and Clinton. And if they do end up being the nominees, books will be written about the gigantic rise in 2012 or 2016 of negative partisanship. You can call it whatever you want, but I don't think that historically we've ever had a general election, theoretically, that will be driven so much by opposition as opposed to enthusiasm. And if you care about politics, if you care about America, that's not a good thing. But thankfully, you do still have a choice. This thing is not wrapped up yet. Sanders is still running against Clinton. You can vote for Sanders. You can phone bank for Sanders. You can send in $27 to Sanders. Because if he does end up losing and Clinton becomes the nominee and Trump gets it on the right, regardless of how many people choose to stay home, because they don't care anymore or they hate the candidates so much, regardless if some end up going out, this is going to be a historically depressing and negative general election. And that's my final judgment.